She's sweet, she's salty, she's smart and craves chocolate every day. Here is your host, the Greek goddess of comedy, Ellen Karis.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Sweet and Salty with Ellen Karis. I am your host, Ellen Karis, and this is a guest edition today. Very excited. I have a wonderful guest. All of our guests are wonderful. Ellen Karis only gets wonderful guests. Ellen Karis, listen to me. I'm talking like, third person, like I'm Regis Philbin. All right. Anyway, let's get to that ad, huh? Our sponsor, they've been with us since the beginning. Select Flex. What is it? It's an orthotic. What's an orthotic? You put it in your shoe. Why would you do that? You have to. It's also called an insert. Let me tell you something. Everything starts, your entire body, from the feet up. You need these for your alignment, your knees, your back, your hips. I have these in every pair of shoes, sneakers, boots. They're great in Uggs. Why? Uggs are great, except they have no support. Get it? That's what you need. You need support. You need support in the art. If you have plantar fasciitis, if you pronate, these are for you. Go to their website, selectflex.com, selectflex.com. They have a 30-second video that shows you how it works. There's an adjustability in the arch. You can adjust the arch to firm, extra firm, extra firm if you need be. And that's what I have mine on. They are fantastic. I always say they are the best invention since suitcase on wheels. And for my listeners, go and you can get a 25% discount if you type in the code family25, FAMILY25, get a 25% discount, because you, my listeners, I feel are like my family, except I don't fight with you as much. So go check them out. They're fantastic. And we thank them for their, well, again, I'll say it, support. I wrote the copy myself. They didn't. They're smarter than that. All right. So let's get to our gorgeous guest. Oh my God, she's glowing if you're watching this on YouTube. I had the pleasure of going to a wonderful event, and you know me, everybody. I don't get out of the house much, but I have a longtime friend, Ed Schloman, who is a Marine and veteran, and this man is so dedicated to helping veterans and first responders, I should say, with PTSD. And one of the ways in doing that is to have them be taught transcendental meditation. And I've talked about transcendental meditation on the show. I learned at the David Lynch Foundation with a great teacher named Bobby Roth, but they have TM facilities all over. And anyway, Ed does God's work. I think we can all agree. So there was a luncheon a couple of weeks ago. There was no set seating. I just grabbed a seat next to actually somebody from the David Lynch Foundation that I know. And lo and behold, we were at a lovely table, and the lady across from me, we started talking, and she was so interesting, and I'm going to introduce her in a second. But you know me, it's like, I mean, I have a lot of people that I do know, and then I have a lot of people that I just meet. And we just met, and I loved her already. She is the editor-in-chief of Park Magazine, but she had other magazines prior to that, and I love a magazine, and we're going to get all into that. So without further ado, allow me to introduce my guest, Julie Sagoskin. I hope I pronounced that correctly, because I asked her about 2 seconds ago. Welcome to Sweet and Salty with Ellen Karis.
Thank you, Ellen. No, it's great to be here, and I'm so glad we connected, and I think it was meant to be, because as you mentioned, that really was a special and meaningful event, and you got the last name right, so extra points to you. It's not easy.
What is the origin of your name? I'm thinking Armenian, but I don't know why. But what is it?
Not that exotic, as far as I know, but I haven't done ancestry DNA, so who knows at this point. But as far as I'm aware, it's sort of in the Belarus region, although I've never visited anywhere nearby. But
wow, that's a place that's a region that gets it's getting national news these days. So yeah, wow. So we went to this event. Ed does these every few months or so. He honors somebody. So you were there because you knew the PR person. Was that correct? I was there just because I know Ed personally. I'm not connected to anybody, but and the prior events, just to let you know, that he had in November and he had another one in January, I actually did some stand up. So this one though, because if you remember, there was a lot of people talking and everything, and he just said, "Come, we don't have time." And as a matter of fact, I said to him, "I go, do you want me to still come because these seats are precious?" And he's like, "No, no, no, I want you to come as my guest." So that's why I wound up coming there. But like I said, I don't get out of the house much. I have no social life. But you, I'm fantasizing as an editor-in-chief of a magazine and being in the publishing industry for as many years as you have, and I want to find out about that. Get to go to a lot of fancy events and get to meet a lot of really famous people, and you get to schmooze. And what is that like? Okay, what is that like? Because I'm usually by 11 I'm watching another repeat of Seinfeld. So what is it when you have like a fun life like that? And
well, first of all, I'm also a big Seinfeld fan, so that always wins no matter what. And I mean, I do have to say I've had the opportunity just throughout my years of being in entertainment and media to really get out there. And I have to say it's been really thrilling to see New York getting back on its feet. I was here, as I'm sure you've witnessed, throughout the pandemic and things closing and people just really coming together and making an effort, from restaurants to venues to hosting. So things have really started coming back, which is great to see, and be back on the red carpet and doing photo shoots, traveling. So definitely I've had the opportunity to meet with, interview a lot of celebrities, as you mentioned, Gallus, that wonderful event we were at for charities. I was just a couple months ago at Fashion Week, so that was super fun. I was backstage with Dennis Basso, and I have to give a big shout out to Beverly Johnson, because she is just incredible at 70 years old. She is amazing and just gorgeous inside and out. She closed out the show. It was Dennis's 40th anniversary. So, things are back. I was at another show and Brooke Shields was front row. Everything is packed again. So it's really nice to see. And especially, I just have to say, even for restaurants, we cover dining as well in the magazine. And it's been a heartache to see so many places, even in the neighborhood, closing, but really people just coming back and helping out their local establishments, still dining in, doing delivery. So that's been really nice to see. And travel too is back. We do a lot of exciting travel pieces. I was just back overseas since the first time after COVID. I was just in Monte Carlo a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to Finland soon. So that's also been really exciting. And again, the planes are crowded, the hotels are crowded. I hear a lot of things are back to being at capacity or even overbooked. I think everyone is just itching to get out again into the world. And that really translates into everything, even on award show carpets. You can see we're out of the stylish, as they may be, designer sweatpants season, and it's back into really fun and edgy, really cutting edge, I have to say, fashion. I think people are just kind of tired of these past few years and they're ready to dress up and be themselves, and there's nothing left to lose. We've been through it all, and here we are. We're ready to show ourselves off, I think.
So look how enthusiastic you are and so optimistic about talking about how people are back. When you lead a boring life like I do, I basically lived a pandemic life for years. So for me, no change. But the world does not revolve around me. I do like the fact that businesses are back. I am a New Yorker. I love my Upper East Side neighborhood. It pained me to see what was going on. Horrific, and even throughout the city, and in obviously the boroughs, where family businesses, generations, 50, 60, 70 years, were just, they couldn't make it anymore. And so I agree with you. Things are back. The eating, the delivery, the bikes are like all over the place delivering things, and whether it's food or Amazon or whatever. So I hear you, and that's great. That's great to hear, about travel and stuff like that. I mean, I have my own opinion about how I have my own opinion as to me, it took a little too long for New York City. I think we were way on the other side of the spectrum. There was some places that almost like ignored it, and then we were like, I mean, you can't, which it was bizarre because we live in such a condensed population. It's not like we live out in the farm. So, and I think that there was a real, and I know because I talked to some businesses. I mean, as much as sometimes, the city tried to project itself as being pro-business, and I'm talking about, some of the mandates that were done. If you talk to some of those restaurants, it felt like the opposite, that they were just getting fined if you were like, a foot off of where you're supposed to, just all these things. So it was just such a mess, and it was just such a downer. So that's great. It's great that and again, I'm one of these people, like, as soon as I felt like it wasn't in this airborne, and we weren't washing packages, I was a little bit more loosey goosey, like I went outside without the mask, like, kind of thing. I was one of those people. But so I really feel, though, that we're at a kind of a happy place, and whoever wants to get vaccinated does their thing, and if you want to wear a mask, you should do whatever you want, so I'm glad we're like in that place. Because I think that especially with New Yorkers, you start giving us rules like that, I think we flip out. And again, going back to what I said, we live so close to each other. So, some of those things work in a suburban, not, environment, but don't necessarily going to work in an urban environment. So it was just, anyway, it was a bad time. It was definitely a bad time. So to get to your reporting and what you do, why don't you just give us a little background as to your whole like trajectory and because magazines, and I said this to you at the lunch, I love magazines. I love to sit in bed. Nothing relaxes me more, and better than a book, because you can finish the articles quickly, to flip through with it's just, I find it so relaxing. And I know everything's online, and that's fine, except like, I don't want to bring my laptop to bed, because that's working to me. Right. You know what I mean? I try to keep the bedroom like a sanctuary where, I like shut it. Like, this is the one place where I don't bring a piece of paper or whatever, a calculator. So I love a magazine, and I'm just so fascinated with the business, what you do. So kind of just give us a rough thing of like, how this all came about.
Well, I have to say, I totally agree with you. I like to hold something as well. And as you can see, it's pretty thick. We're a quarterly publication at Park. We do some special editions and stuff like that, but it really is nice. I think it makes a huge difference. And people said, are you crazy? You're starting a magazine. Literally, it was in the midst of COVID. And I was previously at another similar luxury lifestyle publication that has been around for 30 plus years. And we took a break because we're like, what are we supposed to cover? No one's going to restaurants, no one's traveling. And I was definitely in the camp of people washing packages, and I didn't go out for weeks at a time. And so I was being super careful. And we did come back for an issue, but we decided, why not do our own thing? So, we launched this in 2021, and we're still out there. We've had a lot of support and great feedback. And of course, we have our digital issue and links and Instagram. So it's fun to follow us. We're at Park Magazine NY. But at the end of the day, we also really like the fact that people can travel and take a copy with them on the beach. And you're right, plug off, unwind. Don't charge your phone when you're on vacation. Otherwise, what kind of vacation are you taking?
So I was going to say, I mean, we don't need another study, but I'll just say there have been so many studies about how the electronics, the phone, like we're never unplugged. And there was something I was listening to yesterday where they were saying that Gen Zers, it's like they were doing sort of a detox. I don't know which Gen Zers, but whoever was in this study, and they were getting a non-smartphone, a dumb phone, which is basically just text and the phone that works, like a flip phone. And and they were finding it like more relaxing, because when you have your phone, even if you're not answering a call or a text, you find you're scrolling, you're going to social media, you're going this, you got FOMO, you got you're going to the news, there's all this stuff. I mean, look, bad things were happening before COVID, but that really top, that was the topper, the topper of the topper.
Oh, sure. And no, too much screen time. There have been numerous studies on that. It's not good for you. And kids these days, you go out and they're, toddlers are on iPads now watching things. So
I see, I'm sorry to interrupt. I live in the Upper East Side. When I see a kid in a stroller, can't be more than, let's say, 15 months, 18 months, whatever, however it is, where they can hold something, and they've got the phone because the parent or the nanny gave them the phone because, whatever, maybe they were whining or whatever it was. I'm sorry to say, it's like child abuse to me. It's like, oh my God, it's starting already. The brain is getting rewired. So just to get to the magazine, and I love a magazine on a plane. On a plane. That's nirvana to me. Oh my God, I love it. And I'm not like the best flyer, but it totally relaxes me. I think there's something about like turning the pages, seeing the color, just seeing everything, for how it should be, as opposed to on a mini, on a little, whatever, 3 inches, whatever it is. So I commend you all for forging ahead and still, keeping that alive. But how did you get into this business?
So I have to say, I've always really been a writer. I remember even when I was 10 years old, coming home and being at my little desk and just sort of writing novels almost, which sometimes I should find somewhere and kind of go back on them. But I also was always really into horseback riding. And I started writing my own column, actually, in an equestrian magazine called Sidelines, based out of Wellington. And it really just started off with one article, and it turned into my junior perspective column. So every month I would write my little article about shows I was doing, tips on how to take care of your horse. And before I knew it, I would see the magazine in my little column in Barnes and Noble. And so that was just so exciting to me. I was going to press conferences, interviewing Olympic riders. And I just noticed early on that, wow, look at this access that I have. And it was really a fun, unique thing at the time. And so between the two, it just really stuck with me. And then I went to school, college at BU, Boston University, and I wound up interning at WBZ, which is the CBS affiliated radio station there. And then I realized this is great because I can also go to amazing events, do interviews, write up broadcasts. And then it had even another level of, wow, I'm, maybe not on the air myself at the time, but giving these broadcasts to the anchors there who were pretty well known, and listening back, it was just really super exciting. And so when I moved to New York, my first job actually was at the flagship of CBS here at 880 AM. And funny story, it was a news station. It still is a news station. And I just realized, well, this is all nice and good, but I want to, find how to get backstage. I want to be at, a red carpet gala. So I was able to somehow make connections and finagle my way into things and get interviews and then put them on CBS on the weekend, sort of slower news days when they needed content. And so really just a great way. Again, I could mix entertainment, writing, getting out into these amazing events. And from there, I've started writing for different things, Guest of a Guest, AM New York. I was also blogging, writing for, a few different things here and there, mostly lifestyle, entertainment related, and then wound up editor-in-chief of Resident before starting, as we've been talking about, Park. And then in the interim, had a chance to actually co-host a couple radio shows on WABC Talk Radio. So sort of the lifestyle celebrity expert, and was just a really fun thing. I still host sometimes lifestyle shows, or segments rather, on a few local TV shows that air in New York, LA. So that's really great. And then get to, travel and try new things and tell everyone about it. And just Park, I have to say, is a great mix of nostalgia. We have an amazing team of contributors and writers. So again, really great access to people, philanthropists, designers, people that we should know. So it's really a mix of old, new, everything in between.
Okay, I have so many questions. Okay, so you are living the life that my fantasy life was, what I projected it to be, but instead I went to school to be an accountant and went down a boring road to only flip to become a failed stand-up comedian. But that's another story. Okay, so you are doing exactly what I would have loved to have done. And I give you a lot of credit for following your dreams, number one. Where are you from, by the way?
So originally Philadelphia area, also grew up in Florida. So I know people always ask where my accent is. I don't know what to say, if it's a mix. It's probably just me, but moved around. And then ever since graduating college, I've pretty much been in New York, and I just really fell in love with it. Again, it just has everything that you could possibly want to follow and to go to. And so it just really fulfilled this niche again of, what can I do? Where can I be? Who can I see? So it's just really been a great ride and amazing people. I think New Yorkers get a bad rap sometimes. And I have to say, people are, I think at the end of the day in New York, really nice and friendly. So I hope we change that reputation a little bit.
I think there's some cleaning up to do, and then we can kind of go back to a little bit of that. Look, I'm a New Yorker, my whole life. So I'm with you. But I will say this. I feel like I'm talking about Manhattan. We've lost, and hopefully, publications like yours will elevate this, because we need that. Because like one thing kind of feeds off the other. We've lost right now, I feel, our glamour. And I realize, people dress a little casual. We've got, the what do you call it? The topography, is that the word? Topography of New York is very different too. Now we have bike lanes, and we've got food sheds, and we've got, and so it's, and I'm going to say this, my opinion, we got the weed shops. I am not a proponent at all. Okay, I don't think that did us any favors. I understand we need revenue, and I get some of the legalities and whatnot or whatever, but at the end of the day, I don't find it pretty. And I'm Greek. We're losing the Greek diners, the coffee shops.
And I'm very pro diner, so yeah. I feel you there.
That's
the top of the issue list.
Two in just the last month. Neil's on 70th and Lexington, and Three Guys on 96th and Madison closed. So, and like I said before, some of those generational businesses have closed. And I feel like that is what was in the fabric and made us unique. Okay. Because we I lived on the Upper East Side, and I lived on the Upper West Side. These are really neighborhoods. People get to know each other, a lot of longtime residents. So it was, it's it's in a, I don't know, we're sort of like in a weird place. And I feel like we've lost our glamour. Now, bringing Fashion Week back, bringing the Met Gala back, but these things are really important to us. I would love, it's not going to happen, but, I mean, I'm not 100 years old, but I'm close to 100 years old. But, back in the day, people used to dress up to go to the theater. Now, I'm not saying you got to wear a gown and gloves, but, it'd be nice not to wear flip-flops and shorts. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love the theater. I think that, and it deserves an amount of respect. Just like, people still dress up to go to the ballet. People still dress up to go to the opera. Like, I love that. I love looking at the films of the 50s of New York or the 60s where everybody's dressed. I pray that people start to come back to the office. I know it's better, but it's still not where it was. And I think that, gives us something. I know there's, offices now, dress is a little more, more casual than it was back in the day and stuff. I mean, again, there's just something to be said about that. I'm not saying we should be, soldiers, but there's just something about taking pride in our appearance, just like, look, I hate litter. I mean, I can't believe people still litter. It like blows my mind. Like there's a basket on like every corner, so there's those type of things, but having us come back and having entertainment and having events, and making good use of space. I mean, I think Highline is fabulous. What they've done with a lot of the parks, and using like the, that like little island and thing, right. I mean, listen, we have to make changes as well and go with the change, but those are, I think, all positive. So but I hope we never lose our sort of like old world European influenced sophistication,
No, I agree. I think that's so quintessential New York and what makes it such a special city. And just to go with that, I mean, for sure, like I said, Fashion Week or certain galas and celebrities, what to expect. But for sure, when it comes to what people are doing, on a daily basis, as far as shows, going out to dine, I think that we really have lost a lot of that. I mean, I would have to say the last time I was at a show, you really did see people in jeans, and I mean, just really anything goes. There is absolutely no standard of dress code whatsoever. And in many ways, that really is the way of the world, which in some ways it's nice. You can just be out all day, go somewhere, you're in your jeans. I always say, if you're going to have jeans, but you're going out, at least mix it with a cute or sparkly or some kind of dressier top. But, I definitely think that certain places like that should still be, I don't know, sacred in a way, as far as just appreciating the art of it. And even our theaters are so beautiful here and historic, and they're really just special places. So people, I think, should take a little more pride in where they're going. And again, for high-end dining, you don't want to be surrounded by people in sweatpants when you're spending a few $100s or more for a meal, because it really is part of the experience. So I really, hope that we can find this balance of, yes, it's nice, it's great to be comfortable and go around in your tights and your jeans, but certain things maybe call for, a little bit, even if, we're not donning ball gowns every night. So I agree. It's nice not to lose that New York touch. So will be interesting to see what happens.
These are things that I mean, highlighting, all the positivity, because that's what your magazine does, right? I mean, you have profiles of people, and again, not everybody's story is ends in a, or has been rainbows and sunshine, but your restaurant reviewing, your theater reviewing, having all those elements of what makes New York great, I think is important. Now, you said you had a magazine called Resident. So when we were at lunch, that was what you said that, and I wait a minute. I got that magazine in the mail, and I remember loving it. and reading it. And like I said, I love a magazine because you can get a lot of information in a short period of time. And you can get not just information, but you get stories. It's like, it's a magazine to me is like a bunch of short stories is what it is.
Absolutely. No, and it's ongoing. And we also have some really great extensive features and profiles. So it's, a lot of it, we have a chance not just skimming the surface, but really getting into these people and places, which is really nice. And it also lends itself to partnering with great brands and institutions and people. So for our summer issue, we are doing it will be our second time hosting an event with Hampton's Fine Art Fair. So it is really great that it lends itself to getting out there again and, showcasing the magazine and a way to bring people together at these events or in the city, or really showing them, hey, New York, this is who we are, this is what we have, and there's stuff going on. And we also like to point out things around the country and the world. It's not just super centric just to New York City here, because we know so many people love to travel and they're really curious and cosmopolitan as far as what's going on in the world. So we do like to hopefully see that there is something positive, no matter what's going on, kind of leads you to maybe a more whimsical, fantasy of things out there, a little bit nostalgic, a little bit uplifting, and just hope that resonates for a little bit.
Well, putting positive vibes out there, God knows we need that. And two things you said. One, I always say this about New York, that you can a few things. One is you can never be bored, right? You can never be bored. There's whether it's just walking in your, walking in a different neighborhood or whatever, it doesn't always have to be eating. I mean, and by the way, we do have the most amazing museums, and not just the big ones, like the little ones too, that don't get the publicity. And New York is really the kind of place where either you can really have this, a big social life, you can get involved, even if you come here and you don't know anybody, you can get to know people. Or you can have a quieter life, and, do things in your apartment and sort of, stay in your radius, stay in your lane, stay in your neighborhood. It's interesting. And we have greenery. I mean, look, obviously, if you like the country, that's, then you like the country. But I just think that you can live whatever life that you want to here. And as far as traveling goes, we did do a bit of travel. I mean, actually, sometimes I'm married. I don't know if you are, but sometimes to get my husband to travel is a challenge. But I do like to travel, and there really are so many places. I mean, whether it's this country or not, there's just so many places to go. It's a little disconcerting. And I don't know if this is going to change or this is like just the way that it is, but, flights have become very, very pricey. I mean, we're in inflation. I mean, we have seen inflation. There's no those are the numbers. So that I think has been a challenge for some people. Not everybody has the disposable income to sort of like do these things. I love to go out to eat, but I don't go out to eat often, because when I do go out to eat, I like it to be the experience. That's, there's some people, they go out to eat all the time or wwhatever. And because I think like that, then that loses it. I mean, I do it, but I like to go, when I like to go all out,
Well, it's so funny, Ellen, when you bring up with experiences, because that was another thing I was also reading, and I think it's really across the board, but it's sort of, I guess, a new thing for millennials, really, that since COVID, they're seeing spending trends actually really are more on experiences experiences versus, say, buying things. So if I can go out to a nice dinner, if I even go on a trip, say it's even a weekend trip, it's a train ride away at a nice hotel, I'd rather spend my money at that or at a concert versus, I'm going to go out and buy another outfit. I'm going to spend my money on this. So it's really been interesting to see people's priorities now. But for sure, you're right. I mean, travel is definitely going up. Everything's going up. So, it's definitely important to kind of see booking in advance and some travel sites that can offer better rates. But it really is disconcerting because I think it is so nice now to get out there and really live it up, because I think we've all seen, if we don't do it now, I mean, who knows what could happen next. We've really just been on this unending roller coaster. But I think, if you can make something happen, even if it's in your own backyard. I'm a big proponent of staycation. So in fact, in our spring issue, there will be an article, the new Hard Rock Hotel near Times Square open, and it's actually a beautiful property and so many things in our own backyard. So I think that it's definitely nice to at least get that feel, which people are really craving.
Yeah. And sometimes I don't have the patience, but if you hunt and peck, you can find things, you can find the cheaper, the this, the that.
No, there's apps now. Yeah. Hotels Tonight, there's Hopper. There's so many great things. And I think also people can call hotels. They don't always realize. And if there are unsold rooms, you never know what kind of deal you might get. So, definitely think people should look into.
These are the types of tips that you get from not only Julie, but from the magazine, Park Magazine as well. That's what I'm saying. Like, this is the kind of stuff, because sometimes I feel too, like, you think that you get information from, dare I call it TV? I don't know if we call it TV anymore. We have TVs in our house, actual flat screen TVs. And you have then you have the TV on. And, there's a lot of shows that have information. That's all great and stuff, but you're not always paying attention. I mean, it's not like you're sitting there. Sometimes TV is like background noise. That's why, again, I really like a magazine, because it helps me sit down and focus. And I'm really like absorbing what it is that I'm reading, versus sort of hearing it. By the way, speaking of hearing it, I know that I heard you on 880, because I am a big 880 fan in the car. So I like AM radio in the car, and we don't have satellite in the car, but I like AM. I like AM a lot. So I know it's funny when you said that, I go, God, I know I heard you. I know I did. So tell us about your radio experience. I mean, you've got such a pleasant personality. You speak incredible. You're a wealth of information. What do you have any sort of, like, when you say you did radio shows, and also please let us know what local shows you've been on, and what you to look for you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So really my last shows, when I co-hosted, I had two great co-hosts, and one of them was a fitness guru, and she owns women's gyms in Scarsdale, and another one is a nutritionist. So it was a really fun way to kind of blend all of our experiences together, and also just girl talk pretty much. Mm-hmm. So it's just like having a slumber party, but trying to enlighten people or kind of give them some information, and just great guests we've had, from Fran Drescher to Bridget Moynihan. So really just a mix of things. And again, because we also kind of launched this show, I don't know what it is, everything I launch, radio shows, magazines, it all happened sort of during the pandemic or in the midst of it. So we were able to also have a segment called Bringing New York Restaurants Back, and just showcasing chefs and restaurant owners. So it was just also a way personally to say, what can I do? This thing just seems so insurmountable and overwhelming. And it's literally the only time I can think of that something has just affected every single person, and somebody that they knew was sick, or somebody that they knew was in the hospital. So I just can't remember anything close to this. So we said, well, let's at least try to help some local businesses. So I don't know, exactly, I know some were able to make it, some of course closed, but we really just wanted to get the word out there, and people were very responsive and amazing and wanted to really do their part. So that was really great to see. And yeah, I have done some TV shows. One is Wake Up with Marcy, and Marcy Hopkins herself, the host, she is just really inspiring herself. She has a book out, Chaos to Clarity, just her own journey, just battling with alcoholism and how she got over it, and just has lived a super successful, inspiring life. So also giving back in her own way. And I will actually be on a new show that's coming up, which will air WLNY and some CBS shows in Atlanta and Tampa, called Lift Off with Jeannie Walden. And again, she's just a super inspiring powerhouse woman like you. And she's worked at numerous businesses, startups. She's launched film companies. She has just really done it all. And now she's also hoping to find a platform, or she is already, actually, she's already syndicating the show to bring on guests from everything, really, people in Ukraine that are hand delivering items to refugees, instead of just saying, here's a shipment, go to a warehouse. So I just thought that was such an amazing story. And even just how to show kids and even adults how to eat vegetables, but in a fun way. So however she can help and kind of showcase some good things happening in the world, I think we can all at least try to remember that at the end of the day, there are some good things going on, and just any little thing we can do to do our part. I think that's another thing people don't realize. They just think this is such a huge thing. What can I do? And so it's nice to see even little things, just it's such a chain reaction.
I love what you're saying. I'm feeling positive talking to you. You have that effect on me, and that's hard. Because
you were doing that. I thought it was from you. So we'll do that transcendental meditation. You're good at that.
Well, I am a big proponent of TM, and I encourage anybody to to investigate and to look into it. It is the most easiest way, and by the way, scientifically proven, helping kids in inner city schools. Again, the veterans, they've had incredible success. So prisoners, I mean, so many people. I think, and I already have a religion. I'm Greek Orthodox. Like, it's not that at all. I think everybody should do it. I really do, because our minds are, it's like, it's a constant, it's a, whatever it is, wherever you are in your life. I mean, it's obviously, it's happening to teenagers who, technically they shouldn't have that much responsibility, but they're taking it all, they're taking it all in. Again, with, the introduction to with the smartphone really changed everything. I mean, you're young, I'm not quite sure, but I can say I did not grow up with a smartphone or a cell phone. So, very, very different. And so TM, this is how I describe TM. Or again, whatever you want, whatever you can do to rest your brain for 10 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day. I mean, TM is, the optimal is 20 minutes toward the morning and 20 minutes at night, but like Bobby Roth says, so if it's 10 minutes, it's 10 minutes and 10 minutes. And it's easy to do. And you just go someplace, you shut your eyes. I've done it in planes. I've done it in cabs. I mean, the best place is doing it in my bed, in my home, but I've done it everywhere, hotels, when I've traveled, and then I get there and I already had 17 cups of coffee and I need to relax because I got the show in 4 hours. And I was never, ever a napper, ever. And that's something that can actually help me fall asleep. And I'm never, I mean, you have no idea. Like I was one of these people, I can never fall asleep when I needed to in the middle of the afternoon or something to regenerate. So it's really just incredible. But the way that I describe TM is your day, like everything goes into your brain. It's almost like if you have a garbage disposal, right? You keep throwing the garbage, keep throwing the garbage. And at some point, you got to shut the garbage disposal. You turn on the machine and then it compacts the garbage and then you throw it out. That's what I look at it like. Everything's going in your brain, and then TM helps you close it and then empty the garbage, and then to, only to fill it up again, obviously 12 hours later. So
no, I think, yeah, we all have stuff we can throw out. Me too. So I love that you're so into that, because I've also been wanting to explore more. And what's so great, you can do it, as you say, anywhere. So,
it's just incredible. And just to go just one step further, so like, I'm not this person that could sit there and then think of the ocean. Okay, I love the ocean, but I can't. It's not like, that's not doable for me. What with TM, I feel like an advertisement for TM, but I really am. I'm so passionate about it. Is that they give you a mantra, and then when you sit and you finally close your eyes and everything, you have thoughts, right? It's normal. You have to have thoughts. And then they have you focus on the mantra, and that sort of relaxes you. And then you'll have the thought again, and then you'll go back. So it's not about not having thoughts. That's like, to me, that's like the throwing out the garbage, but to have that quiet time, we all need it. We whether you live in New York or any place else, we all need it. I also love anything that is wellness and fitness. And over the years, I wish I ate the way I eat now in my 20s.
But you still look just as great. So you're doing something right.
Oh, it's the Zoom. I think I know I have gotten educated from, reading, articles like yours, magazines, what small, just information. I think, and I don't mean to insult anybody, but I think we are still very nutritionally ignorant. And this is not to say nobody loves cakes, cookies, and pies more than me. Nobody loves chocolate.
I think I might win.
I mean, I get it. Okay. And like we're talking about fine dining and everything, I get it. And I think, no, and you can't eat like just Brussels sprouts for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? I think it's about balance. And I think giving any nutritional or wellness information I don't care if I've like read the same thing 27 times. Like, I think that's so important, because people still, I don't think we're where we should be given what we know. So I love that your magazine focuses on that. And I'm a big workout person. I go to a dance studio. As a matter of fact, when we're done, I want to give you a couple of recommendations if you're interested. But I always say to people, look, you just do something, just something, whatever makes you happy, but just to get the heartbeat going, just to get some something going, stretching is great. Well, whatever, but you got to do something.
No, it's so true. And I love that you're going to dance class. My main thing, and it's so bad because I'm literally in a triangle of gyms, and even a wellness space across from me, and Soul Cycle and yoga. And so I just look at my street. I just hope I take it all in by osmosis. But you're so right, because sometimes we just get so busy. I'm like, oh, I'll go in the morning. Then I wake up. No, I have emails. Oh, I'll go during the night. No, I have things to do. So, it gets really hectic. But my thing, I'm also a huge dance lover. So I just dance in my apartment. I put music on. I make my own routines. I don't know if I know what I'm doing, but I think for sure, as long as you are being active, they also know it's really good for your mind as well. And just for everything, for even your soul. And it's good to just say, okay, even if I'm working from home or I'm inside more, I am still kind of centering myself. I'm staying healthy. And, it's not even about going to the gym for 3 hours. It's even just, I think 30 minutes, as long as you're sort of doing the right type of workouts, right, it can really add up and make a difference. And another reason I love New York, just getting out and walking, I can say this counts as something, and it doesn't feel like I'm doing anything extra. So I just love that about the city here.
I'm going to confess something to you. My biggest fear is that my husband's going to want to move to Florida someday, and I'm not going to be able to walk to go buy kale, almond milk, toothpaste. I have to get in my car. My big fear, getting in a car and having to drive to the store.
I know.
I can feel my ass growing already just talking about it. I think part of the reason why I'm also very tiny, so there is not a lot of room for me to grow. Okay, I can't gain 30 pounds and lose it. Like, that's not happening. I wouldn't be able to breathe. But I think part of the reason is that I've kept whatever, within what the weight I'm supposed to be, is because I walk. I love to walk everywhere. I go someplace or whatever. We're a walking town, which is why, and I'm sorry, but now this is a negative thing, which is why I kind of hate the bikes. Not because hey, I can ride a bike. I'm a good bike rider. I won't ride these streets. There's just no way. It's too dangerous. They blow lights. People are lunatics. There's electric bikes, so not everybody's pedaling. I mean, it's a shit show as far as I'm concerned. But so I'm a little upset because then a lot of bikers sometimes go on the sidewalk. It's like, listen, if you're not in the street, don't, that's it. Like, the sidewalk should be off limits. But what are we going to do? We're going to have laws for, there are laws for that. No one's listening. So
I know exactly. Everyone needs, if they stayed in their lane, would be right. If everybody could follow the rules.
It's a big pet peeve of mine. And it ain't changing. So, but anyway, the walking, but my biggest fear, and believe me, not that I wouldn't love a beautiful townhouse in the suburbs with a brand new kitchen and a washer dryer, whatever, but the fact of getting into a car to go grocery shopping or whatever makes me nuts. So, and I'm not this big environmentalist or whatever. I mean, I think we should respect the earth and all this, but I don't ever want anybody to tell me about my carbon footprint, because nobody has taken more public transportation, okay, and has walked more than me. So I don't want to hear it. Okay. I don't spend money on Ubers unless it's, 11 o'clock at night and it's just not safe to get on the subway. So I've done my share. We don't have me, right? You know what I mean? I have friends like, they're calling Uber. I'm like, no, we're taking the subway.
No, and that's why you look great too. So it's 2 in 1.
I'm trying. I'm so I'm impressed. You're so lovely. I hope maybe we can, maybe socialize sometime. I think I love what you said earlier, that you wrote when you were little and you always had a journal, and then you wrote, you're a horse lover, which I know nothing about horses, and then it was in magazines, this is what you were meant to do. I mean, this was it. You were born to do this. This was, if there was destiny, I mean, I'm still finding my way at 107.
Well, I think we need our own show next. That's what I'm feeling.
Oh, I'm in. I am in. Listen, I do this all by myself. I am in. I love a partner. But I think it's great. I love what you do. I love that there is a lot of good, and it's good to step back and to think about that. I mean, I'm not giving myself any credit, but sometimes, and this really comes from my faith, when I'm in my crazy and I go, stop, in Greek, stop is stamata, stop it, stamata, think about the kids are healthy. This is good. We've got this, we got that. We're here. You got to do that, or else forget it. And you know what? If people are more successful than you, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about when I see, it's like, what? That was their destiny. I wasn't supposed to be on Friends, even though I feel like I should have been, but I'm just saying, I'm just saying. So you have to be grateful. You really do. I know it sounds schmaltzy, but it's the truth. You just have to, or else you'll eat yourself.
No, it's true. Look, even it's serendipitous how we met. And I just think also, and it doesn't even matter what stage you are of life, because I just say everything I've done, I still look at as a stepping stone sort of to the next thing or the next person I'm going to meet that's going to, change my life somehow. And I just think things happen literally when you don't expect it, or, the next day, and it also sounds so cliche, but just even things that have happened to me and just hopefully that will happen. Just, I think that you just never know really. So for everybody, it's just about still believing. And of course you're putting in the work. It's not just going to fall into your lap, but I think that the universe does listen, hopefully. So there's always that possibility.
And I like you sort of said this. You're never too, I hate the word old. I hate it. I hate it so much. And I think sometimes, when I hear people, there's like disrespect. I hate disrespect for the elderly. I hate when people talk like they're just taking up space, or that they're not, they've lost their purposeness. I was very, very fortunate enough to have all my grandparents and a great grandmother, and by the way, sharp as a tack. Did everything, like no bullshit, like there was no sitting down, and it was just I hope I'm kind of banking on those genetics. But just older people bring so wisdom and experience and all this stuff. So my point is, though, that I wish, and I know your magazine I'm sure does this, but like encouraging people to just, whatever your interest is, if you're 85 and you want to take up painting, do it. Like, do it, whatever, if you can physically do it, and there's and all the articles about people that are older, it's about keeping their mind sharp. And that doesn't necessarily mean they work till they were 100, but just whatever it is, just keeping your mind sharp. When I see they put the octogenarians, and there's always a story, like I stop and have to listen because it's fascinating.
No, I agree. And I think that is such a big topic. And one of the great things is, as long as people are pursuing these hobbies even and turning them into who knows what now, businesses, and the world is so much more interconnected, especially, that's one good thing I have to say with technology is you can start a website, you can, meet other people who might be able to help you. You can maybe feel a little less, isolated. So I think that there are opportunities probably more than ever before to try to make something happen for yourself. Even, if it doesn't turn into $1 billion business, people are even selling things on Etsy and, things from there turning into brick and mortar stores. So that's something that really anyone can do. So I think it's great that people can follow their passions or turn something into something else and more easily than ever. And I just have to say as well, we had Joan London on our radio show a few times, and she's just terrific. And she actually wrote a book called Why Did I Come Into This Room? And she is really passionate about ageism and that people have put her in a box even. And she even feels her career from the Today Show was sort of cut short due to this, and just how she's perceived now. She says, first of all, she looks fantastic. She looks great, but she even asked me, what age can I wear my ripped jeans up to? Because, she still wants to rock out whatever fashion she feels comfortable in. And I think that that's, another point too. She said her age for her is 45. She's sticking with it. That's how she feels. That's what she tells people she is. So she thinks age is not, don't look at your birth certificate. It's literally, look, if you're going to dance class and you're going to spin class and you are, doing whatever you're doing and you feel great, then, who's to tell you what you can accomplish and what your limits are? And if anything, I think we do owe that respect because it's another generation that's come before us that has not just shown us the way, but given many of us our platforms and the ability to have our careers and where we are now. So it should be really about being grateful instead of sort of, you've already had your chance, move on. So I do hope as well that that's something that people recognize more.
I love what you just said. Joan London is now my new favorite person next to you.
Oh yeah, grab a book.
I have to
come into this room. It really is.
You know what? I remember when she had that on, and I remember Joan London on Good Morning America. And her exit was look, kind of my recollection was kind of severe. So at that era, and by the way, that wasn't that long ago. I mean, we're talking what, the 80s, the 90s, and we're not talking about 1910. You know what I'm saying? Like,
No, and it's still happening. Yeah, no, there are really a lot of things.
well, listen, I'm a stand-up comedian. I'm not going to go on my soapbox. I'll just say this, that we are at 1962, I believe now. So we've moved up a little bit. It's gotten a little bit better, but not where it was. We still get the women aren't funny. And yes, there are some famous stand-up comedians, Chelsea Handler, Sarah Silverman, Amy Schumer. But this is the thing. I can name them, okay? The men, it's endless. So it's still not great. And I'll just give you this little tidbit. My new friend, editor-in-chief of a magazine, there'll be a show, a comedy show, which is like normal. The average comedy show is like a 3-person show. You got an MC, you got a feature, you got a headliner. If it's 3 women, it's a woman's show. It's a lot of the time 3 men. And sometimes if there's a woman, there's 1 woman. Very, very rarely it's the woman headliner, woman feature, and male MC. Once it's gotten better, but no place where it should be. And I'll say this other thing about age. When somebody dies, what is the first thing that people ask? How old were they? So let's say you say they were 70, and then they would say, this is always the reaction, they were so young. So you basically have to be dead for somebody to call you young. So, okay, if you're dead and you're 70, you're young. If you're alive and you're 70, you should live in Florida, play pinochle, and just be invisible. So it's bad. It's still bad, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, we're definitely, and many things, we've really made so much progress, but then we have a long way to go. But for sure, for me, and I'm sure for the world soon, your name is going to be on that list right after Amy Schumer. So you're gonna be the catalyst.
I just want to gig on I just want to work on Saturday. Like, you know what I mean? Like my expectations at this point are so low. But anyway, enough about me. Julie, please give us all of the magazine, everything, social media, where we can find you, all of that, where we can subscribe to the magazine, everything.
Okay, great. No, and we'd love everyone to follow and, check us out each issue. It's really just an exciting mix of things. So I like to say something for really everyone and all ages, so we definitely don't discriminate. But you can definitely check out Evolving Stories, our website, parkmagazineny.com, our Instagram handle, Park Magazine NY. And again, there you can also reach out to us. So we love to hear feedback from readers and what you would like to see. We're also in the Mandarin Oriental, Park Hyatt hotels in the city, a lot of pull-out boxes around. So even if it doesn't get mailed to you, we really like people to just say, hey, they want to grab some and go to Grand Central, read a coffee, and now you've got a magazine. So just kind of spreading the word. And I'll definitely let you know some upcoming TV appearances. And like I said, I'm looking forward to us hosting a show. I think that was our calling. So next meetup, we're gonna have a business plan.
We're gonna meet for coffee at what is it? Which hotel is doing the tea in the afternoon? The Whitley, the one.
The Whitby. Oh yeah, that's my favorite hotel actually in the city.
So my friend, I saw it. Joan Hamburg talked about it. I looked it up, and then like the next week, a girlfriend of mine, I've got a group of like my Greek, I call us the real Greek housewives of the Upper East Side. So in our Greek girl group, said, hey, you'll love this. Her and her teenage daughter have decided to do one fancy thing a month. So they're doing like a fancy, so they wanted to do tea, and it's funny because her husband is British. And I couldn't go because I was working. Yeah, I was traveling. I couldn't do it. But anyway, they went and they said it was phenomenal. So
no, it's really, yeah, no, they are British. They have a great story. The hotel owners, then the wife is also an interior designer. They also own the Crosby Street Hotel downtown. So everything is super unique. They sell their products in Bergdorf's. I actually had the pleasure of doing a staycation in one of their suites during COVID. So that was my travel, was a few blocks away with my suitcase in hand. But it really is just a really special place. And they are British, so they bring that really authentic feel to it. And I actually did also have tea with my cousin during that time, and just even the china and the silverware, and it's just amazing. So
see,
sure, great tip. Yes, and hashtag girl goals. I love that. I love that they're making time to get together and do something nice. Because another thing too, I think New Yorkers, we almost take for granted the things that we have in our own backyard, and there are so many things to see and do, and really on all budgets. And in fact, a lot of people don't even realize museums and certain experiences are discounted or free on certain days. So just really so much to do. Literally could be up the street from you that you didn't even know about. So I think it's good to really make a point of exploring a bit more.
Well, you've motivated me to get out of the house. And because I don't want to be sitting in my house in Boca in 5 years, regretting that, that I didn't go to the museum, or that there's no place to go other than Publix. So no offense, Boca, no offense. Okay, Julie, thank you so much, guys. I went on the website also. Check out Park Magazine. It's a fun read, and follow them, follow Julie, follow the magazine. I am Ellen Karis. Please follow me at Greek Chick Comic on Twitter and Instagram. Facebook is Greek Goddess of Comedy, Ellen Karis. And or go to my website, ellenkaris.com, for this podcast and all the other ones that we have done for 9 seasons. That's right, sweet and salty. That's who we are. Thank you. Hang on. I want to talk to you. Great. Till next time, everybody.